What's your take on the subject of submission in marriage? I used to dread that subject. Let's take Naomi in the Bible, for instance. We all know that she was married to Elimelech and they had two sons. One day, Elimelech said he was moving to Moab with his family because there was no bread in Bethlehem. And Naomi did not complain because she was a submissive wife, right? Many Jewish women are taught to be submissive. So she was a submissive wife and she left to Moab with her husband and two sons. But she lost her husband, she lost her two sons, and the only thing she had left were her two daughter-in-laws, Ruth and Orpah. And Naomi left Moab back to Bethlehem with Ruth. That was scary. So I fought the subject of submission in my heart for a really long time. And I was like, Lord, what if I end up being married to a man who is as foolish as Elimelech, or a man who is as foolish as Nabal? And the Lord taught me something about submission. First Peter chapter 3 verse 1 says, wives, in the same way submit yourselves to your own husband, so that if any of them do not believe the word, they may be won over without words by the behavior of their wives, when they see the purity and the reverence of your lives. Your beauty should not come from outward adornments such as elaborate hairstyles and wearing of gold jewelry or fine clothes. Rather, it should be that of your inner self, the unfading beauty of a gentle and quiet spirit, which is of great worth in God's sight. In one of Apostle Paul's letters to the Ephesians church, he mentioned that Christ is the head of the man and the man is the head of the woman. So this is what the Lord taught me as a single woman. He has given me a choice to choose who I want to be submitted to in marriage, to choose who I want to lead me in marriage. When I make a choice, I have to submit that man in marriage. So as a single woman, in your decision in choosing a life partner, in choosing your husband, make sure you're choosing a man who is actively submitted to Christ, a man whose decision making is being inspired by the Holy Spirit, right? A man who understands his assignment as a king and a priest over his home, a man who knows that he's the leader of his home, right? Marriage is a three-person relationship: God, the man, and the woman. You can't do marriage without the person of God. And part of God's structure for this institution called marriage is submission. Make sure you're choosing a man who is actively submitted to Christ, a man who is committed to pleasing God, and not just you. He's committed to pleasing God first. Don't choose based on looks. And of course, you have to be attracted to the man you want to get married to. But beyond that, don't choose based on looks. Don't choose based on his wallet. Choose based on his commitment to God. Joseph, the husband of Mary, was that kind of man. He was a man who was actively submitted to God. That's the reason why he didn't move until he heard God's voice. When God told him to leave Egypt and go back to Israel, that the people who wanted to kill Jesus when he was a baby had died and he should move back to Israel. When he moved back to Israel, he heard that Herod's son was the one who was leading after his father. He was scared because Herod's son was just as bad as his father. He was scared, of course, but he didn't move until the angel appeared to him in a dream and told him he should move to a certain part of Israel. Mary didn't have a hard time submitting to him because she knows that this man, as he's leading me, God is the one who is leading him. This decision he's making, he's not just making it based on himself, he's making it based on God leading him. You would need that kind of man in marriage because, like I said, love is not enough. You will need a man who is able to make sound decisions, a man who doesn't make decisions based on what his friends told him, a man who doesn't make decisions based on what he saw on social media, a man who is able to seek God's face when there is an issue in his home, a man who can lead you, a man who is not scared to choose God's voice over yours. So you had better choose well. You had better make sure that the man you're submitting to has a good head on his neck, is a man who can make clear and sound decisions. Choose well.